Rumspringa!
Hey, Brynne, have you seen Steel Magnolias?
Oh my god, yes, I love that movie.
Jonsy, you've seen it, right?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
You've seen Dracula, right?
Oh, I love that movie. It's so good.
Lena, you've seen it. What do you think?
FilmSprinGa!
Hey, Brynne, have you seen Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh my god, Weekend at Bernie's saved my life.
Jonsy, you have to have seen it.
Oh my god, no, I haven't. Of course not. You've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the best.
That movie scared the out of me when I was a
You know,
kid.
did scare the out of you? I have not seen that one, and I will be praying for all of your souls.
It's your FilmSprinGa, Lena.
Hasn't seen it.
It's showtime!
Hey everybody, this is our very first episode of FilmSpringa. I'm Tony and...
Hey, I'm Brynne.
And I'm Lena.
Yes, this is our new show podcast that we're going to be doing all about film. If you haven't guessed from the title, we're going to go through some of our favorite movies. But the whole premise of the show is going to be Brynne and I are huge movie buffs. We've seen a shitload of movies. Wouldn't you say that, Brynne?
So, too many.
Too many that have influenced our life from when we were a kid till now. So we're going to visit a lot of films that we grew up with. Some amazing, some not so amazing. But we're going to get to watch them again and kind of get nostalgic about it. But we have our friend Lena, who's here, who grew up not watching any films pretty much whatsoever.
Not a single one, tip to tail. Never seen a movie.
Debatable.
So we're gonna go through some of our favorite movies that we're gonna watch through this podcast, and Lena gets to watch them from virgin eyes. Never seen them.
I'm jealous.
I know, right? So Brynne and I are gonna kind of see if these films still hold up after all these years, and if we still love them as much as we did.
We're going to have to take our nostalgia goggles off.
It is so hot. I'm sweating like a whore in church. And then Jonsy is going to come in and watch it and see if she even likes them to begin with.
Some of these I'm real scared about.
I know.
Looking at through the lens of like an adult person with like mature taste.
What mature taste is debatable. So let's go through first.
Mature.
You're mature? Let's go through first how we kind of all know each other.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we'll start off with that.
Yeah.
So I first met Lena many years ago. We used to do theater together, and we did a little show called Pride and Prejudice. I did not want to be in this show. I refused to be in the show, but they needed.
You didn't even audition for it.
I didn't even audition for it. I got reamed into being human scenery and your dance partner for the show. And who were you playing in the show, Lena?
I was Kitty Bennett. I was the second youngest sister. I was not Lydia, the one who runs off with Wickham, the scandal of
which is
what
I would have pegged you as.
Right. No, I was the other one who was just obnoxious for obnoxious sake. And I nailed it.
Yeah, yes, you did. So Lena and I had all of our dance scenes together, and I had so much downtime in this play that I would be backstage getting drunk off my ass, and then I would try to go on stage and dance. And half the time, Lena was either holding me up or pushing me in the right direction of where we should be going.
Because it was my San Diego debut.
Yes, it was the first
I wasn't going to let this new best friend of mine ruin
it. And then we bonded over Tori Amos. We were like huge, And then that kind of was it. We became like besties after that. And then you met Brynne when you were in Florida. So how did you two first meet?
Yeah, I moved to Florida because I fell for a military guy, and I joined the theater scene there, and everyone kept telling me about this other chick from San Diego who fell for a military guy and moved to Pensacola, Florida, and how much I needed to meet her. And eventually we met.
Yes. It was a protracted. And then we became BFFs. Yeah. And then it just so happened that we are both now relocating back to San Diego.
And then that's when I met Brynne. And then we like all hit it off really well.
Oh, wow.
But Brynne and I bond over movies because your history with film from you were a kid influenced a lot of like your life as me because we're both movie junkies. But it's so annoying when you have that friend and you're like, oh, you say a line and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
What are you saying?
So the whole project of this show is to educate Lena on some films.
She's reaching the point where she's like resentful about us asking her, and we're resentful toward her for not having seen it. So it's a real roadblock in the continuation of our friendship.
Yeah, it gets annoying.
I mean, you guys ask me the same movies over and over, and I don't know how many times I have to tell you I have not seen that.
Yeah.
It's like when you open the fridge and you expect a chocolate cake to be in there where there was nothing before. That is what's happening with us asking you over and over again.
Nothing but uncooked eggplant and zucchini. Yep. You're like, okay, I could do something with this, but why would I want to?
Nothing but Shelley Long's. Yeah, nothing but Shelley Long's production company.
Oh God!
Is up in there.
So speaking of that, so Jonsy, give us your history with film. Like, why did you grow up so sheltered and not able to watch all these films as a kid and a teenager, even into your 20s? So where did that come from? Yeah.
Well, one, I did not realize how sheltered I was until I left the cult. I grew up a very conservative, military brat, evangelical upbringing. My father was a youth pastor. He went to Bible college and all that. My mom was a preschool teacher. So I thought I knew all movies. I just thought there were about 3 movie studios who made movies.
Which one? What were those studios called?
Disney.
Okay.
Canning Tales, which I think is an offshoot of Disney from the 80s and 90s. And let's say Jim Henson and like then random like Bible movie.
See, Jim Henson, you save yourself a little with that. But after that, I don't know.
As a human being who has been obsessed with movies since like my conception, I never heard hide nor hair of a canon tale.
See, me neither until Jonsy. That was my first like ever hearing. I'm like, what is this shit? Yeah.
Above that, it is a Shelley Long production company.
Yes. So Shelley Long had a TV production company. It wasn't a film production company, but they did kind of like half-hour, like maybe 45-minute, and it was all of kind of the fairy tales you've heard, but more the original version, not so much the Disney
the scary versions.
No, because since it was aimed towards kids, she tried to lighten it up and that kind of thing. But
Cheers. This is what she left Cheers.
This was also not only after Shelley Long. So think Popeye, olive oil, and The Shining.
Shelley Duvall. That's Shelley Duvall.
Sorry.
Shelley Long was in Outrageous Fortune with Bette Midler and Brynne. Hello Again, where she jumps on a chicken ball.
Never seen
one of my favorite movies.
I love that movie, and it's
get ready for a lot of films you say you've never seen it.
Yeah. And some of them I will tell you are not good.
So Shelley Duvall. It was Shelley Duvall.
This makes so much more sense to me.
So wait. So was it Shelley Long or Shelley Duvall?
Yes, Shelley Duvall.
That makes way more sense now.
Yeah.
Way more sense.
A ton more sense. Yes.
Okay. And now she's kind of cuckoo-magoo, so
Tony, remember that movie Frozen Assets with Shelley Long?
Yes.
Frozen Assets.
And Money Pit.
Yeah. Money Pit. Oh my god.
Tom Hanks. Oh my god. Rob loves that movie. Producer Rob loves that movie.
I love that movie. Producer Rob.
Have you seen that, Jonsy?
No.
Of course not. So what films, Jonsy, when you were growing up, did you watch? Like, what would your parents allow? Like, where were their line at?
So we watched a lot of animated Bible movies as a kid. And Disney was always allowed. So I loved Little Mermaid. That's my generation's jam. And then I watched a lot of Muppets. And because my folks had like a soft spot for Jim Henson, like I grew up on The Labyrinth, which maybe doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
So my parents had random exceptions.
Picking and choosing here is what your parents are doing.
Yeah. I also, on the same VHS tape that The Labyrinth was Little Shop of Horrors with Steve Martin and
Ellen Green.
Green.
And Steve, and who played Seymour?
Rick Moranis.
Thank you, Rick Moranis.
Who is living such a lovely life right now. He retired to take care of his children after his wife died.
Yeah.
He took widower and father duties and went, yes, got it.
What a good guy.
So, but yeah, and then other Rick Moranis films, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I was allowed to watch things like that. Basically, anything that was PG.
So you had a very vanilla film history.
Yes.
What about you?
Big exclusions, like anything having to do with witchcraft, nixon.
No.
Yeah.
Did your parents think if you watched that, the devil was going to get into your house and possess you?
They weren't that. I didn't realize they were that extreme about it until I got to high school and the movie Waterboy came out, and everyone compared Bobby Boucher's mother in it to my mom. And then
I would say that's true. Knowing your mother and have met your mother, I would say that's pretty true.
At one point, Lena and I were living together, and I was out of town, and her mother came to visit and did all of my laundry. Like, went up into my room.
Are you serious?
In the whole house. Like, anything that was out.
She just cleaned it. Oh, dear
Lena
Lord.
did my laundry.
Oh, God. Okay, so Brynne, what films did you grow up with? Like, when did your obsession with films start, and why?
So my obsession really started at like a very young age. My dad was super, super into movies, and he was like one of those guys who was also always talking about trivia. My favorite ever conversation I had with my dad once is that we were talking about Betty Davis. I'm like, my dad didn't cuss, he was like grew up in the 50s and 60s, and we're talking about Betty Davis. He goes, wow, she was a real bitch.
How old were you when that happened?
That was my
question. I was older. I was a teenager.
She's like 2. I remember it.
She's to be educated. So, like, my family, we would, like, every Friday, we would go to Blockbuster, and everyone would get to pick out a movie. And in my family, no movies were off limits.
Okay.
And it was very much because my parents also wanted to watch movies, and they did not want to let having children hinder their ability to watch the fucking movies they wanted to watch. So
what were some of the films that they would, like, you would pick that now you look back going, God, that wasn't a wise choice?
Oh my God. One time at a sleepover, my mom decided that it would be a good idea to rent The Good Son.
Oh, with Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin.
Where he plays a serial killer?
A bunch of 7-year-old girls. Like, if my mom and dad wanted to watch something, like, they did not care. My favorite family story is that my little sister was 5.
Yeah.
My mom let her rent Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I love that film. It's a really good version of Dracula.
It's very good. But we went back to Blockbuster to return it and pick a new movie, and my 5-year-old sister is screaming because she didn't want to return Dracula. So she's going, Dracula!
And she's 5?
5.
Wow.
My parents did not care at all.
We didn't celebrate Halloween. That just lets you know the difference. Yeah. I didn't know what Dracula was.
See, Jonsy, this is interesting to me because, as you know, I grew up very religious, Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
But I did everything you weren't supposed to and then some. So I was able to get away with it. I just did it. I didn't give two shits. But your parents were like Hawkeyes. They just were watching you the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Like
I didn't know things existed.
Like what?
But like all the things you, Tony, knew existed that you were like, I'm going to watch that. I was like, I didn't know there was that to watch. So, why don't you tell people why?
Yeah,
I think growing up as a creative person, like doing art, theater, it was a way to escape because I grew up Jehovah Witness. So film to me became a way to just get out of reality, and I fantasize for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so
I remember
talk your mom into letting you watch those movies, though.
I would sneak off to a friend's house and watch them there.
And I would be that friend. I would be that friend.
Exactly. Or my cousins. That was another way to do it. Or I would just like sneak into the movie theaters when I knew I wasn't, make up some lie that I was waiting for like my older sibling inside, and yeah. And I remember we got caught.
You guys out as friends.
Huh?
And my mom sniffed you guys out as friends, and
said,
we're like, you're not allowed to go over there.
Yeah.
No,
you're not allowed to hang out with them.
No sleepovers at the good son's house.
To traumatize you.
Nope.
So Brynne, let's get a gauge of your movie taste. What are some of your favorites that we can expect Lena to watch during this series of podcasts?
Okay. So my thing is like I love horror movies. Love them. And I specifically love funny horror movies because it very much blends my love of comedy with my love of blood and gore.
Yeah.
Lena's rolling over.
I know. She's like, oh, God, here we go.
It's also because I've been her roommate. So I've walked in several times from work and been like, what am I walking into?
It will be like April 4th, and I will be watching like 5 horror movies in a row. Like,
what are some of your go-to horrors?
So, Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, we've talked about this.
Yes.
Such a
love,
good
love. The Reanimator. I love just for the gore and like the camp. And for real ones that really scare you, like The Shining.
Oh yeah,
I'm super into. You know,
did you off topic? Did you see Dr. Sleep, the sequel? That
I have not seen it yet.
I watched it. It was
interesting.
It good? If you're a fan of The Shining, you'll appreciate it. It was some parts were a little hokey, but if you're a fan of The Shining, they reference a lot of it through the movie. So.
Hey, do you guys think that Shelley Duvall was so traumatized by filming The Shining that she had to start canon production?
No, Popeye did it to her. Popeye did it to her.
Popeye.
I can actually
cinematic masterpiece of Popeye.
So I can actually speak to this.
Oh my God.
He, after that, did supposedly have some trauma and moved to 15 minutes outside of the town where I went to college, called Wimberley, Texas, and bought a ranch out there and kind of holed up and hid out from the world. And
for real?
In my college town of San Marcos, Texas, Southwest Texas. That
was weird.
I have no pride for my alma mater. But yeah, so I don't know how much it correlates with her studio of fairy tale theater.
Yeah.
But supposedly that's when she made the move from California, Hollywood, all that kind of stuff to the middle of the country, Texas, nowhere, USA.
We're just setting up our offshoot podcast, which is just all Shelley Duvall conspiracy theories.
We should have a Shelley Duvall conspiracy theory segment on our show. Yes,
we should. What's up with Shelley today?
Yeah.
What do we learn about Shelley? Where is she? What's going on?
Exactly.
My brother-in-law from the same city.
Shelley, we'll talk about Shelley Miscavige and Shelley Duvall.
There you go.
Religion stuff ties in. We can bring in Leah Remini. It'll be great.
Oh
Perfect.
yeah, Remini. Yeah. Okay. What other horror films, Brynne?
So for like legit horror, like I love Scream
Yeah.
just because like I am a child of the 90s. So Scream, Evil Dead, all the sort of funny ones, but then like for I really always loved The Others, the Nicole Kidman one.
Oh yes, that's such a
Scared
good
the shit
film.
out of me. But I'll do a good Conjuring if I'm hanging out on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
I'll do a good The Nun. But
Eh.
like the really formative ones were like, and I mean, there's like Nosferatu, obviously,
Mhm.
like the Willem Dafoe and like those sort of ones. But I love the campy ones. I love the Shaun of the Dead, like the sort of, I like a good zombie movie. I like a
Yeah.
good vampire movie. I like a lot of gross blood.
You like the gore, right?
I like the gore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the gore and the camp more so than like
The
really psychological because that's actually really scary.
I don't like the ones that scare me are the supernatural ones, like
Yes, like the others.
Conjuring, people getting possessed, all and like The Exorcist. Forget it. I'm like a mess, but I'll watch them because I love them. But I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Now I can't sleep. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't sleep, but I love it.
What other
Like,
films besides horror are in your wheelhouse that you love?
so let's talk about like top like Mel Brooks for the
Oh,
comedy that
yes.
was so big for me growing up, like Blazing Saddles,
Yeah,
History of the World. Like,
Yeah,
oh my God,
all
History
of
of the World,
those.
so good. I
What
love
was the Mel Brooks one where they sang the song the Inquisition? Was that History of the
that's the
World?
History of the World. The
Okay.
Inquisition, what a show! The
And
Inquisition. We can't do it. We
high
want to pay for it.
anxiety, was that the other one?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jonesy's like, I have no idea what you're talking
Like,
about.
this is why this is every conversation we have.
I know,
Yeah.
exactly.
I saw Spaceballs.
I love Spaceballs. Joan Rivers,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Oh my
Plays
God,
a
so
robot.
good.
There were random
I
things
own it.
that I got to see.
Yeah,
that
that's so weird.
They
I
let
like
you watch
knew,
that?
I knew
Really?
there was
Baseball?
life out there. I just knew I couldn't be a part of it.
Yeah, outside of the
Right.
cult, there was life.
Yeah.
There was
Okay,
life.
I
There
think
were
we got
Spaceballs.
Yeah. What,
There was
Brynne? What genre of films you're just not like into? Is there a genre for you?
I mean, I don't know. Family movies.
Too wholesome? Anything too wholesome? You're like, no, get it away from me.
Any
I'm
of those,
allergic.
any of
You're
those
not gonna
movies
like
where
it
they,
when I introduce it.
yeah, any of those movies where Josh Gad is voicing a dog,
You're
I'm not into it.
right. Jesus Christ.
What about you, Tony? Let's talk about your genres.
I'm like you. I like a lot of horror, but I also was obsessed with like the sci-fi fantasy style of the late 80s, early 90s, all of that kind of stuff. Like the original Blade
I was
Runner.
good. Blade
Love
Runner.
that. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Back to the Future, Bill
Never
and
seen it.
Ted, all of
Oh
that
my
kind of
God.
stuff. Yeah, and like the Terminator movies, I love those. Now I've talked to you about this one, Brynne, but there's this movie from the 80s called Dreamscape that scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
remember? And
Yes,
it
I
was
do remember.
like these scientists were like doing an experiment, and if you fall asleep if you die in your dreams, you die in real life.
In real life. Yes.
Scared
Yeah.
the shit out of me.
Kiefer Sutherland
I think so. Was
So
it?
and Julia Roberts.
No,
you're thinking
Flatliners.
of Flatliners. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I
like
saw that one.
you saw? That's what you saw? Flatliners. So
Okay,
random.
well, so once I got older, I didn't know what to see. So I just kind of like went with whatever people.
Would you look at a movie poster and go, "Okay, that looks good. I'll try
No,
it."
I didn't ever pick because obviously I had nothing to like. I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons. I didn't know anything.
If you're gonna do a Kiefer Sutherland, do Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is so
Flatliners.
good.
Never seen it.
Outsiders, yeah.
Never seen it.
Mhm.
God.
You're out of your mind.
But I like those. I like, okay, this is going to be really gay. And I can say that because I am gay. Beaches. Anything Bette Midler
Oh
was
my
in, I'm
God.
obsessed with. Everybody that
Yeah.
knows me, Jonsy knows that she's that. And I made you watch Beaches when
You
we
did make me
first
watch that
became
one.
friends.
And
I
I
said, if we're
enjoyed
going to
it.
be best friends, we're sitting down and watching this.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
very much enjoyed it.
Yes, you did. But I like a lot of those. I like a lot of campy movies. I'm all over the place. I like a good drama, but there's a lot of films from like when I was younger, like Big Trouble in Little China. Awful film, but I loved it as a kid. Do you know?
I will gut punch anyone that says that they do not enjoy Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. And
Never
It's
like
horribly
it's
offensive.
it
It's
is
very problematic.
so
So
horribly.
that's going to be one
offensive.
that will not hold the test of time.
No,
Probably not. I'm sure there's going to be a lot that we're going to be like,
a
oh
lot
god,
of them. Like,
oh,
this is bad.
yeah. But I was like
Yeah.
obsessed with like those type of movies. A lot of the old like well, to me it's old, like Pretty Woman, all of those older rom-coms I used to love. Yeah, and big epic movies too, like Room with a View. Those big, I forget, those big epic type of period pieces I used to love too. But yeah,
No, I
I'm
get
all
it.
over the place with films. Yeah.
I mean,
Like, I know this is
This
going to
is
be
why we're here
interesting,
today.
huh?
but I think the thing for Tony and I specifically is that like these movies are very much tied to important moments in our
Yes.
lives and feelings of like growing up and that stuff happening. So I feel like that's why and everybody does, I think.
Yeah.
But
So
I remember feeling
a lot of the films we're going to be reviewing on this show and that we're going to expose Jonesy to are films that Brynne and I have a very strong connection to. For whatever reason in our life, those films were maybe a pivotal point with something else
like
that was happening.
impactful
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. So in a lot of these we have not seen in many, many years. So it's going to be
Oh yeah.
interesting to get the story behind why we watched it, why we love it, and when we watched it, and then rewatching the film and going, "Oh God, what was I thinking?"
Oh man.
Or
We're gonna
If it's as good as you thought
Yeah.
it was, or if the points you thought it made in your kid life,
yeah,
it still makes 25 some odd years later.
and to see if we get triggered by it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Tony
and
and
see how
I
we
we
handle it.
promise that we will try as much as we possibly can to take the nostalgia goggles off.
Yeah, and really review
and
it. We'll
really review it.
Yeah, and then how we're gonna do it is we'll pick the film at the end of every episode for the next episode, and all we're gonna give Jonesy is the title of the film and the movie poster, and she has to try to guess what the plot is about if she doesn't already know. And then on the next episode, we will review the film. Before we review it, we'll give it a grade of what Brynne and I actually would have graded the very first time we saw it.
Yeah.
After viewing the film, we'll see if that grade still holds up or if it's going to get demoted. And then Jonesy,
or maybe even escalated.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find a new appreciation for a film that you had no idea because you weren't, up on the level.
Positive.
I know.
Yeah, I'm excited about all this, guys.
I know, right? And then we're going to throw it to Jonesy, and she's going to review it as a first-time viewer and really give us your honest opinion. No holding back on these films. Because I'll know if you're lying. I'll know if you're lying.
Not afraid to be honest.
Exactly.
Jonesy, what movies are you most afraid of us to tell you to watch? Like, what are you not looking forward to?
Also here's the thing when it comes to movie predictions. I did not live completely in a vacuum. My parents were poor, So I always went to public school. I did not go to a private school. I wasn't homeschooled. So there's definitely things I know that are out there in the universe, and that like I kind of know what they're about. And then I also know like why it was, like you should never see this. So for example, I'm really afraid of all the Freddy Krueger movies.
Oh God.
Oh my
And
God,
I'm really kind of dreading watching any of them because
and you will watch all of them.
just don't want, like, I know that he's like a dream guy invader.
And he's gonna come and get you while you
He's
sleep.
a dream guy invader. Yeah.
A dream guy invader. Can I get that on a shirt? Just say
Yes,
dream
that's
guy
for sure, yeah.
invader.
When we start merchandise,
Yes.
Freddy Krueger is the dream guy
so hit
invader.
like on this YouTube for
I know.
merchandise opportunities.
Like and subscribe below.
But Nightmare on Elm Street actually scared the shit out of me when I first
Oh yeah, I
watched
scared
it.
the shit out of me.
And I remember going to school and like hearing that from all my friends, especially all my friends who had older siblings, and so like kind of like a you guys situation where like they saw it maybe sooner than they should have because of the older siblings, and there's stuff like that, and then there's also some stuff where I'm just like I've avoided watching it because surely it's not going to hold up. Like
what?
I'm not. The big one that comes to mind is Weekend at Bernie's. Like everyone is just like, I can't believe you've never seen that, and I'm like, I don't think it would
loves
be.
that movie.
I know, and she's one of the people I regularly have this conversation with.
Yeah, I remember watching that like when it first came out and thought it was hilarious.
Hilarious.
I just don't know if partying around a dead man for
dead body.
exploiting
Dead
a
body.
real.
That's a real crime. That's a
I
legitimate
don't
crime.
know how that's gonna hold up in the year 2020.
It will be interesting to see how it does hold up. I'm really curious because it's been a long time since I've watched that film.
Yeah.
Do you know how often I talk about Weekend at Bernie's during my
All the
stand-up?
time. All the time.
Every stand-up set has a Weekend at Bernie's reference.
Which other films, Jonesy, are you kind of not looking forward to us torturing you with?
So the other ones are kind of like the ones where I know there's a big expectation from everyone for me to love it.
Yeah.
So case in point, the one that always gets
I already know what you're gonna say.
everyone at Hillcrest mad at me.
Oh, I know,
I already know what you're
Steel
gonna say.
Magnolias.
Steel
Steel Magnolias. We've gotten into arguments about this because I've never watched it.
I have had an entire bar yell at me, drink your juice, Shelby.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That
Yeah. You
That's
are like a
also
Shelby.
what I've heard.
It feels like a very Lena-esque movie.
It does.
So
That's why I'm surprised she's
strange.
never seen it. Yeah.
And I've actually also auditioned for it.
That's true. You have.
Ooh.
And you still have not seen it.
Right.
God damn
She
it.
didn't want it to taint her portrayal.
Correct. That's another reason. As an actress, there's a lot of things that I'm like, well, I've made it this far succeeding without ever having seen it.
Yeah.
What if I start mimicking that and then my career is over?
It won't. No. So I'm excited because it's going to be really fun to visit a lot of these older films that I haven't seen in years, and I know Brynne hasn't seen in a really long time.
Yeah.
And kind of just revisit all of that goodness.
You talked about triggering earlier. I'm excited and scared about the feelings that these movies will trigger because I feel like it will be a lot of sad, lonely Brynne figuring out.
We'll just have to make sure to introduce, like funny, scary drama. We'll have to mix it up. And then the other thing, which we almost forgot to mention, I will introduce them to a movie I grew up with that they've never heard of. So that'll be from Canon Movie Tales, other Bible things.
Wait, we didn't agree on this. What are you talking about? We're gonna have to watch the Shelley Duvall movies.
We're watching a Shelley Duvall production.
Oh God! Can we just be higher drunk for that, please?
Yeah.
That too.
Absolutely.
The other exciting thing is that when we pick our movies, we'll also take a second to tell you guys what we think you should pair the movie with. So while you're watching, you can grab a little drink and a snack and have a theme along with us.
Yeah, absolutely. What you should eat with the film and what you should drink with the film.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's going to be fun.
When we
that'll be
introduce the film, we want you guys to watch it with us.
Yes.
So that you guys can also let us know, did it hold up in your opinion?
Yeah.
And then also, because I've found a whole bunch of ex-evangelical kind of people, maybe we'll introduce to some brethren and sistren.
Who are in the same boat you are, Lena, who haven't seen shit.
I've said a lot of curse words during this podcast. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
no, we
God,
all curse
yes.
now because we're free from
We're
Oh, okay, cool.
We don't have that religious guilt.
Like,
No, we
there's
still
no
do.
way I'm
Just
going to
keep
get through.
counting.
There's no way I'm going to get through a Shelley Duvall canon film without saying
God,
"fuck"
no.
at least 12
Oh, God,
times.
no.
So just be
You
aware
might
of that.
actually like it. You don't
Wait,
know.
are they
No,
musicals or just straight films, Jonsy?
I don't want to hear the answer to this.
So you guys keep merging two different things. Canon Movie Tales, which is a movie, usually are musicals.
Okay.
And then Shelley Duvall Fairy Tale is a TV series. And I think they had some music in them, but I don't think they were musicals.
Okay.
And then we'll also get some storyteller series.
I
which
used
is
to love
Jim
storyteller
Henson.
series. Yes.
So yeah, but a lot of kids never ever knew what that was.
The Jim Henson storyteller series?
Storyteller, yeah.
It was really
yeah.
good. I remember
like
that as a kid. Yeah.
I think I would like to rewatch that.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. That is one that I think you guys are gonna like. That holds up. It is still weird the things they introduce to young children.
I know.
Okay.
But the one that I'm not looking forward to is the Canterbury Tales, because I already have a feeling they're just gonna be so fucked up.
Robin Williams plays the Frog Prince. I'm just gonna drop that little.
Really?
Oh man.
Are there like big stars in these films or no?
110% big stars. All the names you knew from the 80s and 90s, they're all in Shelley Duvall and Canon Movie Tales. That's why I'm surprised you guys never heard of them.
No.
That's crazy to me because the percentages only go up to 100. So if you're saying 110, that's more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
But in Jesus land.
In Jesus land. Oh God, we're going in Jesus land. I thought I left that years ago.
My passport. My passport says sinner on it. They won't let me in.
You only need the Holy Bible.
Mine just says downstairs. Downstairs. That's it. Okay, Brynne, before we wrap this up, I want to get your top 5 films that are your go-tos.
Okay. So I will say, and some of these might be controversial as they are, I don't think what people would consider cinematically on AFI's top 100 list.
Is this top 5 of all time or top 5 from childhood? I need to know.
I sort of merged them.
Okay.
And I was thinking movies that that I keep going back to.
Fair enough.
So Tommy Boy.
I love Tommy Boy.
This is why
David
we're friends.
Spade and from
Chris
SNL.
Farley.
Chris Farley, yeah. Down by the
Has
river.
such a special place in my heart. Every Thanksgiving, my brothers and sisters and I sit around and watch Tommy Boy on a loop.
Yeah.
And we all just say all the words over each other. We scream them out the TV.
Yeah.
The second, Blazing Saddles.
Oh, Mel Brooks, so good.
Love it. It's very
okay. That's going to be an interesting rewatch, especially with the climate we are now, because it was a satire on racism.
I
On
have
racism,
seen
yeah.
that one. I saw
Yeah,
someone made me. Someone
You've seen it?
Someone made me watch it in my early 30s.
Okay.
So-
We'll have to do History of the World then for you.
Yeah, history.
That one I have not seen.
With Madeline Kahn. Oh, she was so good in that. I love her.
So
Okay, next one.
The Shining.
Yes, the original with
Shining.
Jack Nicholson and Shelley
Shelley
Duvall.
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 I
This is
swear it's
Shelley
all Shelley
Duvall
Duvall.
Fairy
This whole
Tale
thing.
Theater.
All right, next one, Brynne.
So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Never seen it.
Oh
Are you
my
serious?
God.
Yeah.
I'm like jealous. This is a point where I'm jealous because I would like to be you in a phase in your life where you were about to watch this movie.
So this is one of those that I remember being at Blockbuster as like a tween or a teen and like regularly bringing to my mom and dad and being like, please, Mike Myers. And they're like, murder. No.
And that was when he was in like his heyday when all of those
I could see other movies of his, but they were like murder.
When Austin Powers and all of that was
Wayne's World and
Wayne's World. Oh my God, I remember when that came out. Yeah. Okay, next one, Brynne.
And I don't know if anyone's gonna remember this movie. Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Hello, I love Drop Dead Gorgeous. Amber Atkins.
Amber Atkins.
Yes.
So Alexandra Holden, my clone, supposedly, actress-wise. That is one of her debut films. She plays the anorexic beauty queen.
She does, she does.
Hello.
And it's Brittany Murphy was in it. It was a great Denise Richards, Amy Adams,
Kristen Dunst,
Ellen Barkin.
Yes.
And Allison Janney.
Allison Janney. Yeah, you're right.
You're staying at the airport. Howard Johnson.
Yeah, Christy Alley's in it.
Yes,
She's all, is that for me or for my dress?
Yep.
I can.
They just come to me.
I love that movie.
My sisters and I will just randomly call each other and just say lines from that movie.
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
I love that movie.
That's a good
Tony,
one. Oh, me?
But
Beaches, of course. That's for sure. What are some other ones? A lot of the older ones, probably the old sci-fi, like Buckaroo Banzai and the Last Bitch. I used to love that one. Which other ones? Still Magnolias, of course. Love that. Party Girl, I loved. That was when I was religious about.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, with Parker Posey. All of the like Waiting for Guffman, Mighty Wind, Best in Show, all of those. I loved. I know, because at theater she had to watch Waiting for Guffman. I remember they were like, you have to watch this.
The theater was also an introduction to a lot of things that I probably would have never seen.
Yeah.
Because I had theater friends. I was a theater kid. So I got to see a lot of things that I probably would have never gotten to see.
True. Oh, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. One of my all-time favorites. I love that film. On the other podcast, we've talked about that a lot.
That was my first feeling of that I am also into women.
Really?
That was like,
my God, we're going to explore that when we get into it. Wait, Jonsy, you've never seen Elvira, Mistress of the Dark?
Any of them?
No, I know who she is.
But never the film. You've never seen the film?
No, she was
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, dear
Lord.
Casserole
with the casserole? Oh, my God.
Oh, I know, right?
No idea.
Yeah. But those were some of the films. I mean, I have a shitload of films that I love, even newer ones that I watch like religiously all the time. But for the ones I grew up with, a lot of those.
Rebecca, the black and white Hitchcock movie, Rebecca.
I don't remember that.
Oh my God, this would be great because then you guys could both see it.
There you go.
Yeah. It's black and white. Hitchcock.
The Hitchcock one I really liked was it not Room with a View, where it's Jimmy Stewart and he's in a wheelchair. What was that?
Rear Window.
Rear Window. God, I was at the tip of my tongue and I couldn't think of it.
I know what you're thinking of, Tony.
Shut up! I hate you. You're such a bitch.
It's okay. I was in the reading.
I know you were. We did it. Jonesy and I, way back in the day, did a reading of It was a satire of that
Wrong
film,
Window.
Wrong Window, right? Was that the
Yes.
name of it?
Yes.
And then I was actually in the production that Robbie directed of it. It was a really good
Yeah.
show. I loved doing
I love
it.
that.
It's a great show.
It was.
Especially
It really
when
was.
you got a good director like Rob, which Rob
Yes.
is a phenomenal
Oh,
director.
producer Rob.
Producer Rob.
Sounds like
I
that.
also used to love Killer Clowns from Outer Space because it was so
I love that movie.
Never seen it.
campy. Are
So
you
campy.
serious?
Of course you haven't.
I'm not
Of
surprised.
course, I'm serious.
American Werewolf used to scare me, but I watched it when I was older, a little older. I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Griffin Dunn.
Yeah.
A huge crush on Griffin Dunn.
Yes, for sure. And then there was what was Night Breeders with when he goes into the graveyard. Do you remember that one? I
Yeah,
think that's
I
what it was
remember.
called. That was another one. But I liked all of those 80s, like Solar Babies. Do you remember Solar Babies? Do you remember it? Such a stupid movie, but I remember that movie. And I remember being obsessed with it when I was a kid. It was a horrible film.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I know Muppet Baby.
Muppet Babies, the Great Muppet Caper. Did you watch that one as a kid?
Yes.
Okay, good. God, whew, thank
If
God
it was
she's seen
Muppets,
something.
I was allowed to watch it.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, those are just some of them. I mean, there's so many more that Brynne and I are going to cover in this podcast. So I think it's going to be a really fun journey to visit like our past and our love of film and just revisit that time of our life and seeing Jonsy's experience of watching these for the first time. So
and we
now
want you guys to let us know also along this journey what you think. If it's your first time, if you're a weirdo kid like me, a church kid, or if it's something that you haven't seen in 25 years and you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize how offensive this was. Please let us know. We are on Instagram. We have a Gmail.
all of that.
Yeah.
How do they find us on Instagram?
On Instagram, we are FilmSprinGa. Literally,
FilmSpringa.
Film FilmSpringa, as in Rumspringa.
Do you think we should explain?
Yeah, we should explain the title of the
Explain the title of our podcast?
Go ahead,
I'm
Brynne.
not
Explain
Amish.
it.
I'm not
So-
Amish.
She's not
I'm
Amish, but much like when the Amish get to experience the world outside of their home for a little bit, which is a Rumspringa, Lena is having her FilmSpringa, which is her coming into the world of film with her trusty guides, Tony and me.
Would you say we're trusty, though?
No, I wouldn't. No lie.
But yeah, that's where the name came from.
Yeah,
It's Jonsy's Rumspringa, but FilmSpringa. So now we're gonna pick the first movie we're gonna review. So me and Brynne have talked about this, and this is a classic camp film and a classic gay film that Jonsy has heard about for a long time but never seen. So I think it's going to be very interesting. So the first film we picked for our next episode that we're going to review is Mommy Dearest. I know, I'm super excited for this. So Jonsy, you've never seen it, right?
No, but I do know what it's about. I've heard about it.
Yes. So that's because I didn't bring it up on the computer. That's the movie poster.
I have it on
Mommy
my phone as
Dearest.
well. Yes.
And I think you kind of already know what it's about. So give us your little definition of the plot.
So I know it's about Joan Collins, who I don't know anything about. It's not Joan Collins?
If that's what you think it is, we'll go with that.
We should have corrected her. Yes, it is a biography of Joan Collins.
I could just hear all the gays' heads exploding right now.
Wait, so Joan Collins is probably the soap opera lady with the dark hair and the big eyebrows.
Absolutely.
Who is, to me, mergeable with the Joan old lady from Film Days. with the big eyebrows.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
I wasn't allowed to watch soap operas either.
Hot take on that.
And I just know they were scandalous women. So I want to say this is about Joan Collins, not Collins, but Joan something. And when she got a baby and beat it with wire hangers.
Close.
And basically, I know for a fact this is like based on the book that her daughter, who got beat with wire hangers, was like, I'm gonna write this book. And I think she probably wrote it when she was like dead or dying. And then the movie got made when she was probably dead. I hope. But yeah, it's about a mom abusing a child in every way, except it's okay because she's a celebrity. You know, kind of like we see in the Trump family.
Ooh, hot take.
There you go. Yes. You're
We
kind of close.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's it called? Mommy Dearest will be the first film we're going to review and talk
Joan
about.
Crawford.
Maybe Joan Crawford. Are you sure? Or
No,
not Joan Collins? Are you sure?
It could be a biopic on Joan Collins.
It could.
I'm also kind of confusing it with, wasn't there another Joan comic lady that was blonde and told jokes?
I don't know. We're going to have to wait till
Yeah, you're talking about
the next episode.
You mean Joan Rivers?
Yes!
Joan
Wait.
Rivers?
Joan Rivers, Joan Collins, Joan Crawford. I have no idea.
She's just pulling every Joan out there and going, that Joan is in this film. This one.
Joan
You
from
know
my
what?
knitting circle. It could
Jonsy,
be about her.
all of them are in this film. All of them.
Seems right.
Any woman named Joan
is in the film. But yes, Mommy Dearest is going to be the first film that we review, which I'm super excited for because I know it's one of my favorite films of all time. And I know Brynne loves this movie. When was the last time you saw it, Brynne?
I am frightened. Last time I saw it was in high school.
Wow, that's
Why did you watch it in high school? Because this is an older film.
Yeah.
Because I was super into these movies and it was very high camp.
Yeah.
And it was when I tell you that it really resonated with me. And I am very afraid about how triggering this movie will be for me.
I cannot wait. I just remember, because it's been a while since I've seen this film, I just remember how over the top it is and how everything was, if I remember right, everything's just so exaggerated because it's been a while since I've seen it. It'll be nice to revisit it. To revisit it and fall in love with it again, hopefully.
The commitment. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So that's our first movie we're going to review in our next episode.
What grade would you give it, Tony,
Good
before
question.
we rewatch it?
If I'm basing it off of what I remember and the love of this film, I would definitely give it an A+. That's what, definitely an A+. What about you, Brynne?
I'm saying A-.
Okay.
Because I think I definitely understood while watching it what it was.
Okay.
Like, I knew, like, this is campy, this is over the top, but I loved it for that. But I definitely knew in the moment, I was like, this isn't winning any legitimate awards, or it's not gonna go down in history.
Well, it did, kind of.
It did. You're right. It did.
Which we will get into the history of the film and how it was made and the legacy of the film that it's left. And we'll do that with all the films we review. We're going to give you a little history, a little of how the film was made, all of that good stuff when we review it. But you guys, that's our first episode. We got through it. Yay!
We did it.
So,
should we tell them what to pair it with before we go?
What should you pair Mommy Dearest with?
Well, I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, definitely like a dry martini.
That's good. I like that. And a cheese
have
platter with meat.
With meat.
Yes. Very raw meat. And you'll understand that once you watch the film.
Yep.
Sushi?
No, like raw meat. No.
But yeah, pair it with a stiff martini and what is it? Charcuterie board?
Charcuterie board.
Yes. That
With
would be a
raw,
good. Yes. That would be a great pairing for this.
Carpaccio.
I love beef carpaccio, actually.
Beef carpaccio. And maybe give yourself an ice bath, because I remember that.
An ice bath.
What am I?
Which you'll understand. But yes, so that is our very first episode. Woo! So on our next episode, we will talk all about Mommy Dearest. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited for this film. I'm super excited to get Jonsy's first impression of this film that I love so much. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining us for our very first episode. Go follow us on Instagram. We're FilmSprinGa. You can email us at FilmSpringa@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. And we have no posts yet on Instagram.
I know. We haven't done anything yet. Come follow us. We'll post something at some point. This is going to be a really fun journey. I'm really curious to see how this podcast is going to evolve and where it's going to go.
Yeah. Slide into our DMs. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
But until next time, you guys, we will see you later. So bye. See you on the next episode. Bye.